Alright, today we're going to be playing a new game sent to me by a friend of mine called Elemental Clash. See? Ooh, pretty artwork and everything, huh? Alright, it's got a app coming up as well for your portable devices, your iPhones and all that kind of stuff, your Android, whatever the case may be. Also, it's up for a Kickstarter support program, and I'll drop that link in the description below. And we're going to be playing with two of the pre-constructed decks from the Master set. I'm going to be using a Earth-Water deck. My opponent here is going to be using a Fire-Wind deck, which is these purples and reds, and basically blues and greens. Alright, and as we go, I'll describe the zones and, you know, what goes where and why it's going where it is. Alright, shuffle your deck up. Offer to your opponent for a cut. Alright. Alright, then draw 7 cards for both players. Alright, if you don't like your hand, you can mulligan and draw another 7. Any mulligan after your second, you have to draw 1 less card. Alright, appears my opponent's going to be mulliganing for the first time. And I'm going to keep my hand. Try it again. We'll roll, see who goes first. I rolled a 1 to a 6. Alright, well, you can luck again if you need to. You would just draw 6 instead of 7.
No, that's okay.
Alright, now what my opponent did there was play a stone, just like in Magic the Gathering or any sort of resourcing TCG. You've got to play your resources from your hands to be able to summon out creatures, but as you'll see, this game summons creatures much differently than anything you're used to. Alright, so she plays a air stone. Now she's going to play a creature. Or a spell, rather. And it costs 1, and you have to play it on top of the stack that you're building. So you don't just play it, tap it, and play something. You actually have to play it on top of the stack, thusly using that stack's worth of resources for the duration of your turn. But as that's a spell, it's got a spell effect. What's the spell effect?
Draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card from your hand.
Alright. And the point of this game is to basically destroy your opponent's spell book. So as they take damage from the top of their spell book into their archive, which is the graveyard or discard pile. So drawing in this game is almost as dangerous as being attacked in this game. But we'll see what happens.
Go ahead.
Alright, now at the start of your turn you have a standby phase, and if you have anything on your stone stacks, you can move them into your defense zone or your attack zone. I don't have any, so I go to my draw step. That means I draw 1 card from my deck, add it to my hand. Then I go to my main phase. That's when you can play your element stones, your creatures, your spells, and attack, and you can do any of that in any different order that you choose. Any order that you choose. I don't have anything I can play, so I'm going to pass my turn to my opponent. So go to standby. You clear out everything on your elemental stone, send them to your archive, or bring them into play. In the case of that spell, it resolved and went to the graveyard. Now that stack is free again, and my opponent can play another stone either on top of or next to. Now she's got 2 stacks started, generating both an air and a fire resource.
Okay.
Alright. Then nothing more she can do. Her turn ends. Goes to my standby, nothing to bring into play. Draw step for drawing. And then we'll play an earth stone on top of my already existing earth-water stone. Now this means that this stack can produce either earth energy or water energy. Because there are 2 stones on the stack, it produces 2 of those energy. So anything with a cost of 2 or less, I can play on the stack and bring into play next on my following turn. So I'm going to play a Grim Reaper creature on the stone stack and pass play to my opponent.
Stand by.
Alright, so she brings her creature into the attack zone, which means she can now direct her attack to my attack zone creatures or my spellbook.
One, two.
Alright, doing a direct attack comes from my spellbook to my archive, and I lose a Venus Toad.
Go ahead.
Alright, standby phase, I bring into play my Grim Reaper into attack zone, draw a card. We'll play another Earthstone. And play a Mercury Shatterer. Now this is also a creature, but it has a play effect, and it says return target element stone to its owner's hand. So we're going to return the air element stone to my opponent's hand. And then we're going to have my Grim Reaper at 2 attack her creature there, and it's only got 1 defense, so my creature will kill my opponent's creature. And then nothing else I can do. I will end my turn.
Stand by.
Alright, and she played a spell. What's that say?
Deal 3 damage to target creature or player. I'm gonna take out your creature.
Alright, and Grim Reaper gets sent to the archive. Alright, that'll leave it to me. Bring my creature into attack zone. Draw my card. Play my resource. Then I will play a 3-cost Venus Worm on my 3-stone stack. Now, creatures and spells in this game never get higher than a 3 cost. At least not yet, anyway. So 3 is the absolute highest, and that's as high as you need to build your stacks currently. So this stack here produces both earth and water. I need 3 earth, so 3 earth it is. Then we'll have my Mercury Shatterer in play, deal 2 damage to her spellbook. Checks 1, if there's any effects that would resolve by going to the archive, such as a boon skill, then they would resolve. There's no boon, so my turn ends, goes to my opponent.
Stand by.
Brings her creatures into play, clears the stone stacks of any spells, draws card.
Well, that's not going to work either way, so I guess I'll put that back.
Alright, now she's starting her 3rd stack, and in this game you can have up to 5 creatures in play in your attack zone, 5 in your defense zone, and up to 5 stacks of 3 elemental stones.
Okay, I guess just 1 to you.
Alright, her attack zone creature is attacking my spellbook, and it does 1 damage, and I lose a spell. I'm going to go to my standby phase. Bring a creature into defense. Now a defending creature, when my opponent attacks my spellbook, can defend for me. So my 3 attack 4 creature is now in my defense zone. Draw for my turn. Going to play a water elemental stone on a stack that produces earth and water. And then we'll do... We'll play a Wave Courier for 2 on the stack. And it says I can draw 1 card. So I draw 1. Check my hand again. Going to attack her creature for 2 damage. It only has 1 defense, so it gets sent to the archive. And then, again, on my stack of 3, I will play a 1-costing Loam Shaman. And that's all I'm going to do. Pass to my opponent.
Stand by. Go ahead.
Alright, and apparently my opponent has nothing to play, so it comes to my standby phase. And I will play a Loam Shaman. Also in my standby phase, I will move my defensive zone creature up to my attack zone. Call my Wave Courier into play as well, also in the attack zone. And then go to my draw step. Alright, we will proceed to attack currently. We're going to attack for 3 damage with my Venus Worm. Takes the damage 1 at a time, loses a stone.
Boom. Deal 3 damage to target creature or player.
Okay. That kills one of my creatures. That's only the 2nd damage, so it takes a 3rd.
Boom. Put target creature in play on top of its owner's spellbook.
Alright, so my worm goes back to the top of my spell book.
That was 3.
Yep, Loam Shaman will attack for 1. Wave Courier also will attack for 1. And now I will proceed to go to the rest of my turn and play something. I will play my Wave of Wisdom spell, which allows me to draw 2 cards. And we all know that I drew that Venus Worm again, and I still have an empty stone of 3. And I will play said Venus Worm back on another stack, so it comes into play again next turn. Alright, and I will end my turn. Goes to my opponent. Looks like she's finally got some creatures to play.
That's all.
That's it. Alright, comes back to me. Clear off my stones of spells. I'm going to bring Venus Worm into the attack position. Draw for a turn. Then we're going to play a Stonehide permanent spell. And this permanent spell will permanently occupy the stack until the stack is either gone or the spell destroyed by another game effect. And it says, creatures I control now have +1 defense. And with that being the case, I will play Shattering Wave, a spell of 2. Put target element stone on top of its owner's spellbook. So we will put her multi-element stone on top of her spellbook. And we will attack the spellbook for 3 damage. So she loses that stone and 2 others. Now my 1/2 Wave Courier attacks for 1. And my Loam Shaman, also a 1/2, attacks again for 1. And pass play to my opponent. Her creature comes into play. Ooh, and it's a nasty Purge unit. We'll see what happens with the Purge skill.
Target creature gets +3 attack until the end of turn.
Okay. So now that creature will be attacking with 5 strength.
And Purge, that gets rid of your cards or your creatures.
Yep.
Either one.
If Purge attack hits, if she attacks my spellbook, I will lose 5 cards, but they would go to my remove from game section via the Purge skill. Or if she attacks and kills one of my creatures, then instead of being sent to the archive, again, that creature would be removed from play.
Go ahead and get rid of your worm.
Alright, so for 5, she attacks my Venus Worm. My Venus Worm now enters combat, and her 2 damage.
I forgot about that. Hang on. Let's take your cards instead.
Okay. We'll allow 1 take back, because when creatures battle, they do their attack and defense. So hers is a 2 defense, would have been 5 attack to my 5 defense and 3 attack. So both creatures would die as that result. She's opting to not do that instead. So we're attacking my spellbook for 5 damage. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the good thing about Purge is if there's anything in your deck that has the boon skill, which activates when it comes from the deck to your archive, that won't happen because the cards are simply removed from play. Alright, if that's your turn, it'll come back to me. Yeah, Stonehide stays in play because of its permanent ability. And again, it's going to clog up the 2 stones there. So my Shattering Wave will clear. I will draw for my turn. Sure, why not? I will play a Water Stone. Next, I will play a Mercury Shatterer, which is going to bounce. Let's put that stone back in my opponent's hand. Then we're going to have my Venus Worms attack at 3, attack into her creature, which is now back down to a 2/2. Killing it. And we will have my Loam Shaman attack for 1.
Boon, draw 1 card.
Okay. And my Wave Courier also for 1. Passing my turn. And she'll replay a stone. Now an important thing to note, the bottommost stone played is what the entire stack generates. Even if I were to take this water stack here and play earth energies on it, it will still only generate 1 through 3 water energy. Which is why these dual stones are as useful as they are, because they can produce either or, your choice. They definitely make these dual elemental decks go round. My opponent's got a large hand. Does she have anything to play?
Nope.
Alright, nothing to play. Interesting. So we'll go to my standby phase, and we will put my Mercury Shatterer into play. And we will slide my Loam Shaman down into defense mode, just in case she's got any sort of nasty tricks up her sleeve. Then we're going to draw 1 for turn. Sure. We'll play a Shattering Wave spell once again. Put target element stone on top of its owner's spellbook. So we'll put this Firestone on top of the opponent's spellbook. And then we will proceed to attack for 3. We will attack for 2 with Mercury Shatterer. And 1 from Wave Courier.
Boom, draw 1 card.
Alright. As you'll notice, the deck very small. The game should be over on my next turn. Pass turn. Alright, and she's playing a Cumulus. Alright, that it?
That's it.
Alright. My Shatterer, or Shattering Wave goes bye-bye. Draw for turn. And sure, we will play another Mercury Shatterer and return her dual element stone to her hand. Attack for 3.
Put target creature in play on top of its owner's deck.
When she took her 3rd damage and cleaned out the spell book, that ends the game with the Earth-Water deck prevailing and the Fire-Wind, well, failing. Alright, and that is Elemental Clash.